What's up, party people? Today's live is entitled To Correspond or Not to Correspond? That is the question. And if it's not the question, then it's a question. And today, this specifically concerns the 8-circuit model that I've been talking about a lot on these videos. So if you're not familiar with the 8-circuit model, go watch some of my other videos that I have that explain the 8-circuit model. And you can also research some of the names that I drop during this live stream. So just briefly, and you can find this other places, but briefly, the 8-circuit model was designed by Timothy Leary, and then authors Robert Anton Wilson and Antero Ali, along with Leary, popularized it in a few different books. So you can take those authors to Google and you can look up their books and read about the 8-circuit model. So the only circuits I'm actually going to go into today, because it is germane to the question, are Circuit 3 and Circuit 7. So Circuit 3 is the conceptual intelligence circuit, and that's where we make maps and models and grids, and we learn languages, and we create tables of correspondences, and we basically kind of geek out on semantics and language. Circuit 7 is more about mythopoetic intelligence, and this is where you get into phenomena like archetypes and synchronicity and the relationship between DNA and the planetary entity called Earth. A lot of alchemy and comparative religions. And so if you take Antero Ali's theory of vertical connectivity, which I call intervals, the interval between Circuit 3 and Circuit 7 is a perfect fifth. And I have another video you can go watch on intervals, so you can get more into that. So just to backtrack a little bit, in ancient Jewish tradition, called the Kabbalah, worked with what they called the tree of life. And so if you fast forward into, I think like Victorian era Europe, Great Britain, Scotland, a couple groups attached this Kabbalistic tree of life to a few different tables of correspondences, and they would correspond it to things like to tarot and astrology and alchemical elements and, you know, different deities throughout the world and spirits. English author named Aleister Crowley wrote a book called Liber 777, where he, you know, listed a ton of tables of correspondences that were all based on the Kabbalistic tree of life. So fast forward to the 1970s and 80s, and Leary and Wilson and Ali would do similar exercises with the 8 circuits, and they would correspond it to, you know, the chakra systems and tarot and astrology and a lot of that same kind of material. So one of the reasons that these tables of correspondences are good for you is associating all these different things into grids in our head is actually really good. You create lots of different new neural pathways, and you're creating associations between lots of different models and systems, and it can be really good for you. It can keep your brain young. And the other thing is going through all these archetypes and myths. They're fascinating stories that'll keep you entertained for a while. And you get a nice sense of some of the synchronistic aspects of, you know, different cultures envisioning similar deities, all that really fascinating stuff. Where it can kind of go bad, if you want to call it going bad, is there can be like a correspondence fatigue, where you kind of get graphomania and you just start listing all these different lists of correspondences, but you don't really do much with them, and you can, end up getting lost in an ocean of archetypes without much doing much good, or instilling much change into your life. So what I think the primary correspondence that the 8-circuit model has, and if again the 8-circuit model, the circuit is a correspondence. They're corresponding circuits to, I think, primarily to stages of development. So they have these 8 stages of development, and I think that's the primary correspondence. So the first 4 stages sort of recapitulate human evolution and personal development from fetus to adolescence. And the second 4 circuits sort of pre-capitulate future evolution and how we might get there through technology that brings on altered states. So these are the main correspondences that I feel are germane to the 8-circuit model. And so that brings in, so the main 3 authors, Wilson, Leary, and Ali, also corresponded it to Freudian psychology and Jungian psychology and Ericksonian psychology, and a raw enthusiast, a Robert Anton Wilson enthusiast named Mike Gathers does a lot of great work where he, really makes a correspondence to relationship and how that works to form our first 4 circuits from infancy to adolescence, and the relationships we form and how that affects our development. So this correspondence activity can be kind of fun. That's one of the, if you're going to correspond, right? If you're going to, then I think making it fun and just having a good time with it is a great activity. And if you can make it apply to your life, and you can make some changes to your life that you feel are more conducive to your current disposition, that's probably even better. So as far as correspondences go, an author, I think, was kind of poking fun at the Kabbalistic correspondence tables. And so he had some students correspond the Sephiroth of the Tree of Life to brands of cereal, which can be a fun exercise. You could correspond the 8 circuits to brands of cereal if you really want to. That might be a fun exercise. If you do that, let me know. If I do that, I'll post another video about it. But, it can be a great exercise. It can be really kind of fun. Where I took this is I designed something called the musical circuits, where I corresponded each of the 8 circuits to the notes on a scale. And again, go back to Antero Ali's verticality theory of vertical connection that I call intervals. You can see that the interval of a perfect fifth is very important. And I remember reading Leary talking about the law of octaves being one of the sort of catalysts of this model. And I instantly heard octave as a musical interval. And so I feel like corresponding it to both the notes on a musical scale as well as the stages of development for individuals was a great way to use music to journey through the 8 circuits. And the 8-circuit model also became a really fascinating structure and a perfect structure for designing lessons for musicians and musical humans. You can either take these lessons that I've designed to become a more accomplished musician for like functional, so you can go out there and play with others and for others, maybe even become professional if that's your aspiration. But you can also use it to increase your well-being. That we all have heard the science that points to the amazingly medicinal attributes of music. Well, the musical circuit model has tons of lessons for based on, just increasing your well-being and your health. And so my correspondence being to the stages of development, as in developing your musical personality and then developing your creativity, go along with the musical notes. And what's cool is once you really get into the exercises, once you've absorbed the theory, and you can get into exercises and possibly even creating your own exercises after you learn the ones I can give you. You can get melodic and harmonic with these circuits. You can start devising sequences of exercises based on your favorite melodies. I have one based on hot cross buns, and another one based on Mary Had a Little Lamb, really simple melodies. There's another one based on the beginning melody of Joy to the World. So you can really start having fun developing sequences of exercises based on the musical circuits and how they correspond to notes on a scale. So if you want to leave me any comments or questions, I would definitely come back and look at these. Starting up a conversation is what it's all about. And please visit my website, zachwesti2c2.com. Please share, please subscribe, please like, please comment, and I will see you on the next stream.